So how's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's staying safe. This is sort of like I guess a weird video, at least from my perspective. I wanted to talk about guitars I don't own, or at least I don't currently own, but I might have owned them in the past, and why I don't own them. So four kind of things, and one of them is not really a guitar. It's really more of a type of guitar. I don't own a Strat. I don't own a Les Paul. I don't own anything with a P90, nor do I own a PRS. And I'll talk about the PRS thing in a while. And I've tried all of them. And some of them I do want, and some of them, it's not like I don't particularly care for them. It's something that, it's more like, I don't know, they might be a little bit overhyped, at least in my sense, and people play them and they sound great on them, and it's all personal. Everybody knows I love Telly, so I get it. And I know people who absolutely adore Strats. Let's talk about Strat. So, Mr. Jimi Hendrix. I love Hendrix. I mean, I grew up trying to play like Hendrix, and there's so many great Strat players that it's like an incredible instrument. I mean, the name itself, Stradivarius, just comes from the legacy of just great instrument building. In fact, I'm reading a book right now about the actual Stradivarius, following five Stradivarius violins and one Stradivarius cello, the Davidoff, which is currently played by Yo-Yo Ma. So obviously very interested in that, and I know the history of that style. The reason I don't play Strats is because not so much that I can't play jazz on a Strat. I think you can play jazz on anything. I don't know. It's just it never appealed to me. I mean, it sits really, really well. And in the hands of somebody like Hendrix, he just made the damn thing sing, and there's tons and tons of people who play it. You can have separate, different pickup configurations. And I love the neck pickup on a Strat, and I do the whole thing. It just wasn't for me. Yeah, even growing up, I think I owned one Strat, one real Strat, and I've tried a couple of them, and none of them have ever gravitated to me. It's a distinctive sound, and I love it. I mean, Hendrix, I keep mentioning Hendrix. Who's it? Stevie Ray Vaughan. It goes on and on and on and on, and all the lists about the list of Strat players. And so maybe it is because it's a little bit cliche. There's so many Strat players that I want to be different. So even if I'm playing something that's Strat-like, I kind of want to play it in something that's not a Strat. So nothing, no disrespect for the Strat. It's just never been my thing. Les Pauls. I wanted to love a Les Paul as a jazz player. I really, really, really wanted to love a Les Paul. You got the Gibson fat sound, and you got guys like, I know Pat Martino played one. I actually I've owned two Les Pauls. Never gravitated to them. And in part the weight, maybe. And I know there are lighter Les Pauls, there are hollow Les Pauls. It just never did anything to me. The closest to a Les Paul type of guitar I think I owned was like a Howard Roberts Jazz Fusion. And it's sort of like a Les Paul shape with an F hole in it and stuff. And so I really liked that, and I got rid of that. That was several years ago. But again, it was one of those things that, in theory, I should probably own one, and I love them. But at the same time, I mean, it's got a really, really thick sound, but at the same time, just never really appealed to me. And again, might be the sound, the size of the guitar. I like some big body guitar, but that's not necessarily the case because everybody knows I love Tellys. So you've got the Strat and you got the Les Paul. Again, a little overhyped, but they just haven't been my cup of tea. The third one is more P90s. Now P90s I actually like. So I just don't own a guitar with a P90 right now. But I've tried a couple of them. There's a Gibson, I think it was 2019, that I tried a P90, sort of like Les Paul looking thing. So maybe it could be a combination of things. And I really like P90s, but I don't know anything with the P90. And I wouldn't say it's on the bucket list, but that's definitely something that I'm looking for, whether it be a Telly with a P90, whether it be an archtop with a P90. There are several folks who played with, like, I mean, Charlie Christian's guitars. I think it looks like a P90, but things like that. So I've never owned a P90 pure guitar. The fourth is one that, man, I want to like them. because there's been so much hype about PRS guitars. Whatever reason, and I do have videos of me playing them in guitar stores and stuff like that, I've never bonded to PRS guitars. I actually think their Strats look hokey. Don't ask me why. Love John Mayer, love him playing a Fender, and I love him playing the PRS stuff, but I don't know if it's the headstock, and sometimes we're vain as guitarists. It just doesn't appeal to me. There's something that's off about the P90. I'm sorry, that's off about the PRS to me, and it's the rave. Everybody loves PRS guitars. They play it and they think it's the greatest thing from the next to sliced bread. But no disrespect. I'm not this musician getting paid to play guitars or anything like that. For me, on a personal level, they've never appealed to me, and I've never seen what the hype was about PRS guitars and stuff. So, obviously, what do I like? So I obviously love Archtas. And the reason I love Archtas is I started out on acoustic guitars. I like the size of them. This is a little bit bigger. I like smaller type guitars, but I love the size of Archtas. And I love the fact that, it feels like you're playing something that's almost acoustic. I love the cello. I love the sound of natural sound. So I love acoustic guitar. I love classical guitars and things like that. And I just love Archtas. As a kid growing up, my dream guitar was Gibson ES-175, and I have one. And it felt like it was like a part of you. It wasn't something that was distant. It was resonant, even though the stuff is laminate and the whole 9 yards. So I love that. I love tellies, obviously. The reason I love tellies is because it's sort of like a humanistic sort of thing. It's an extension of yourself. You can drop the damn thing, it'll stay in tune. You can play anything on the telly. You can play metal, you can play rock, you can play classical, you can play anything and everything in between, okay? It's just a very, very responsive instrument that allows you to be who you are yourself. I love 335 or 335 type guitars. I've got my Eastmans, and I've played numerous 335s. So I love it because it's a very versatile instrument that you can play rock, you can play metal, you can play anything of that nature. So those are, to me, if I had to say, I had to choose 3 guitars that were electric, that would be a staple, that I would always own one. It would have to be a 335 type guitar, a telly, bar none, and an archtop. Okay, I would always own those 3 guitars. And of course, if I had to add 1 or 2 to the mix, it would be a classical guitar and or a steel string guitar. All right, so thank you for watching, and get as many guitars as you possibly can get and enjoy them. All right then, be safe, folks.